Good morning. Steve Comalander again, the old fisherman. It's windy today. It's on Wednesday, January. I'm trying to catch a perch. Again, that's about all we do right now. It's later on I'll change and we'll catch something else. But right now it's all about the perch. Today I'm changing up. I'm going to use, and it's a little windy, so it's going to be kind of hard to hear me probably because the wind's going to be hitting the speaker. But I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna use a green jig today, and this different color. Try to experiment in a white spoon. Two crappie jigs, Mr. Crappie, and right now we're in about 56 foot of water. See if today is a little bit better than yesterday. Yesterday it was kind of tough. It was kind of slick and overcast. Today we got sunshine, so a lot of times in the sunshine they can skylight them shads, skylight them plugs, and they feed better out here deep in the sunshine. And a little wind a lot of times is a plus, so I'm letting it down at the bottom. We're gonna slow troll again. That's what I do now, slow troll. And darn, already got one. Boy, that didn't take long. I like it when it's fast like that. Man, yes sir, you got to like that. Let's see what we got here today. I'll tell you what, life is so good when you're retired. Look at that, what a white perch, and I caught him on a white and green combination jig. I tell you, you never know. You got to experiment, that's the key. One day they won't bite, you can't give up. You got to keep going, because if you give up, the next day they might be biting and you sitting at the house. So you got to keep going. That's a pound and a quarter perch, Lake Monticello, and on a doggone green and white, kind of crazy mixture of jig. And then I got a little green one there, and then I got a white spoon. I'm changing up. I've been using pinks and reds and chartreuse and all kind of things, and I'm first to tell you, you got to experiment. If you don't experiment, that's what makes a good fisherman. A lot of times I get on fish and I'll just stop and take my plugs off and put something else on to see if they'll hit anything else. And a lot of times you'll find out that there's certain things they'll hit, certain things they won't hit when it comes to artificial plugs. Okay, we're going to drop it back down with 56 foot of water. Wind's blowing me all around. There's another bite. Boy, it looks like they might be biting today. Let's see if we can catch two this time. Hey, run around down there. I tell you, I just love fishing. When I was a kid, growing up, my daddy was a big fisherman, Lee Comalander. A lot of you might know him. We run a filling station, and he set trot lines and stuff like that, and he inspired me to fish. That was back when they didn't have no fish finders. Look at there, 3 at a time. 3 at a time. You got to love it. There's no fish finders back then. You just had to go out and we dropped lines out and see how deep we were. I'll never forget, Daddy used to mark the lines on the real certain depths where he'd know how deep he was fishing. Many times I seen him put marks on the line. And paint lines every 10 foot. Well, he didn't know where he was at. But nowadays, with all this modern technology, you don't have to paint lines. I mean, you can look at the TV right here in the boat and see what's under you. And boy, you can't beat that. I tell you, one fault I have, I got a lot of them, is I put too much stuff in the boat down here for my hooks to catch. I got a jacket, a rope, all kind of stuff, you know, that's a rookie mistake. But anyhow, I got it loose. Now the wind blew me off about 40 yards, but hey, you got to deal with it. You got to grit your teeth and deal with it and try to make the best of a situation. I go back to my story. He inspired me to fish. Back when I was a kid, we used to ride the bicycles down an old red clay road to go fish in a pond, come back with the handlebars full of fish. I mean, just have ropes of bass with artificial worm. Back then it wasn't nothing but a black worm and a red worm. You didn't have all these fancy colors. And So you go down there and the mud would get on your tires, and you had to take the fenders off your bike just to be able to run, to move, because the mud would clog between the fenders and the tires, clog the daggone wheels up. You had to stop and dig it out before you could go on. But boy, these fish, they look like they turned on today. I got a couple again. And that just shows you from one day to the next how things can change. Yesterday I had a hard time catching fish, trying to make a movie. But today, looks like they're out there. And I mean, they feed. That's what I was telling you yesterday. I couldn't catch them. They was hitting and missing, hitting and missing. Look at that, 2 perch. And today, of course, I got this one snagged, but sometimes you snag them on that spoon. Today's a different story. They biting today. I believe now, it's all theory. That's all anybody, they can tell you what they believe. It might be fact, and it might not be true. That just might be something they think is true, but it ain't true. But I believe when you got a little wind, especially with this John boat, I mean, you can hear it clanging, the waves clanging up against the boat. You've seen me throw the paddle out here, the net, and beat the bottom of the boat and make noise. Well, today I got permanent noise. Wind's clanging up against this boat, clink, clink, clink. And I swore to goodness I'll be the first to tell you I think it brings them in. And I remember my dad, he used to make noise like that back many years ago on a brush pile. We fished with crabbies. He said, let's let them know we're here. And he'd splash around with stuff, paddles, and go on. He'd take the anchor and shake it up and down. Back then they didn't have trolling motors. He'd shake that anchor up and down, and there, next thing you know, them crabbies would start biting. So I believe that making them bite like that with noise does work. All right, where was I at? I didn't even see. You notice I don't throw a buoy out a lot. Everybody, and I should probably, but there again, I got another theory. After everybody's out here throwing out buoys, they get on fish, they mark them on the fish trying to throw a buoy out, or they start catching them and throw a buoy out. Well, that's all well and fine. You can stay at the spot, but I'm going to tell you, these fish, after a period of time, they understand after a while that leg going down and pulling that string down at the bottom, they see that. And I believe, there again, another theory, I believe, by gosh, after a while, they'll quit biting a lot of times you throw that buoy out. So I've learned over the years to try to visualize where I'm at. I don't have a GPS. I'll mark over here and then go over here and mark two points over here, 2 points over there to kind of see where I'm at when I'm focusing. Right now I'm making movies, I ain't focused. As you notice now, I got way up here 47 foot of water talking. And I was on some fish, so. But anyhow, it's all about making the show and trying to have life stories, tell life stories. But I'm up here 47 foot of water, and guess what? Where I caught them fish, it was deep. So I didn't focus. There it goes back to focusing again. You don't focus, you don't stay on them. But we'll find them again. If we don't, so be it. But we'll find them again. I already caught several right quick. So a lot of times these fish are hit, boom, 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 and they move. And the weather's done got warmer. After it's been cold, I prefer cold weather for weeks. It's in the 30s, that's when the fish bite the best. Now they get suspended, scattered. But anyhow, go back to my story. My daddy inspired me of fishing. He was a big fisherman. And I come up, and I was born in 51, and around 60, I was 9 years old. In the 60s, boy, that fishing was good. He used to make trout lines, put me on the banks of Lake Murray, and I'd walk around with a top water plug, and he'd come back to pick me up, and I'd have a string of bass. I mean, that was back around Timber Lake area when there wasn't any houses. You just walked the banks and bushes around the bank. That's what I call the good old days. You could go off the bank and catch fish. Of course, nowadays, it's so fished and overpressured, you don't have the equipment and the knowledge, it's hard to catch fish anymore. But anyhow, he inspired me to fish, and that's how I got started. I mean, if he went, I had to be in the boat with him, and I just loved it. I still do, I always will. But anyhow, I've learned a lot of things over the years experimenting, and I've caught bunches of crappie, rockfish, black bass. I've caught them all, and truly love it. Now, like I got off these fish, I was boom, boom, boom there for a second, and all of a sudden, boom, quit. That's the way it goes. But it's all about getting back on them now. I'm still at 48 foot, so I think I'm gonna work out deeper. I think them fish, I don't know why. Water temperature right here is 57 degrees. That's pretty warm to be fishing this deep. I don't know what it is about this lake, but sometimes these perch hold that deep. And it's starting to get cloudy, so I might have got here a little late. I like that sunshine. Cloudy weather is not the best for deep water fishing. And, but anyhow, you know, life is funny. You go through stages of life. You're a kid, and then you grow up, you get married, you have children, and you blink your eye and you get to be an old man. And nothing wrong with that. I'm doing right now what I was hoping all my life I could do, is fish every day. That's what I'm doing. And sharing some of this stuff on videos is I enjoy doing it. It's just a show and tell. Show and tell on Lake Monticello. That's what this is. And right now, I'm not showing much, talking a lot. I see a few fish on the bottom, they're rising up. And there again, I told you I didn't throw out a buoy. I should have thrown out a buoy because I got way off of them. But I'm getting a little deeper now. I'm at 52 foot. Maybe I get back out here deeper, I'll start catching again. What happened was I got pulling with that trolling motor, not paying attention, the wind blowing, and I got off the fish. So you got to get them stirred back up. I'm not going to beat the boat today. I beat the boat yesterday, try to get them stirred up, call them up. I'm going to let the waves do it today. Let's see what happens. But this is another day on Lake Monticello, talking trash. Oh, had a bite. Maybe they'll start again. There he is. Big one, small one, real small one. Yeah. Bird fish. Look at that. There's my buddy. Come here, buddy. My little pets. They something. Running from the other bird with that fish, but the other bird won't poke him and take his fish. Funny jokers. And they share the day with me all the time. Man, can't come out here without them showing up. I promise you. Oklahoma City. I got one of them named Looney. He got a little knot on his head. I recognize that. I had one time, hooked my spoon, broke it off, and he was wearing jewelry for a long time, but I don't see him lately. I guess he got rid of it. He had a bumping spoon around his neck, hooked on the back of his neck. I'm sure he pulled it off. Thank goodness it broke the line. It's not fun bringing one of them in. All right, perches, where you at? We need to get on some perches. Talking about back when my daddy fished, he made his own boat. That's how long ago it used to be. He was the first salesperson for A Brothers. He used to take them old timey rod and reels when you cast them, the handles would turn. And he used to take them things and get inside the store and put a bucket outside and cast through the door into the bucket. He was something. He was some kind of fisherman back in that day. He'd take a fly rod and a crappie jig around the bushes. And you got to have engine water to do that. And he would just catch the crappies. And man, we had such a good time. Didn't have trolling motors, so he set up in front of the boat and paddled. And I'd get right behind him, and we would take turns putting our jig by a little bush. He'd get one little spot, and I'd go to get the next one. And we'd go down the banks, Timber Lake, and boy, we had a good time catching crappie, big old crappie. In fact, it was this time of year, January and February, right on the bank. They come up and spawn. Now the trash is gone. The water's clear. It's a known fact. The clearer the water, the deeper the fish. You got dingy water, they'll get right up under there with the sun baking right by a little bush and sit there. And when it's time to spawn, and they'll get up there and sun 4 inches down if you can't see them 4 inches down, right below where you can see them. And used to take a fly rod and a crappie jig and just drop it along there and catch them. Man, we had a wonderful time. But this day and time, you can't do it. You can do some of that with a cart, throwing it up with a jig and bringing it back. You got to be a little cart, can't make too much noise. But you still do it in a little clearer water like that with a cart. But this time of the year, and now, the limit's 20 on the crappie, so I kind of, when they drop the limit on the perch, I kind of zeroed in on the perch. I can still catch crappies, I just don't do it like I'd rather, and I do like crappie, but I do like catching these perch too, let me tell you. No action. Crappie's a lot of action too. I had one, but he got on. Crappie's a lot of action too when you get on, and I used to catch the crap out of them. But anyhow, nowadays you got to adapt. Change with the fish every year, something different, and I'm adapting. Perch is what I like to do now, because it's my way. Here we got a nice one. Let's see if we can catch 3. Yeah, let's see if we can catch 3. Yeah, I believe we might have 3 this time. Seems to be. Good gracious, that joker pull it. Bird's gonna get on here. I have a real pull. Man, I can't hardly get him up. I must have one snag. See, line going in circle. Uh-oh, bird just pulled one off. Oh, going, I had 3. Bird just got one of them. He got a big one. I don't think he can eat him because it's too big. But anyhow, we got 2 of them. White perch, nice size, 3/4 pound, a pound. Later on in another video, I'll show you how I fillet these perch and prepare them for the dinner plate. That was a big perch that got off. He was bigger than one. He's over a pound. I don't see the bird. They didn't run off with him, so he's probably too big for that bird. He probably had to let him go. Birds can take them up to about a pound, 3/4 pound. That's about it. They're too big for them. They swallow them whole. I've watched them. They'll put their necks out and hold the beaks up and swallow them right down. It's amazing. They swallow them things. Doesn't nothing. On a few now. We got out at 49 foot of water right now. I didn't let it stay down there long enough to collect 2, so I reckon I just catch 1. Get in too much of a hurry pulling it in. You got to, if you want to catch more than 1, you just got to hesitate. A lot of people, and I do it too, when they hook one, they want to pull him on and see what you got. But the key is to let it lay there for a while and let that fish tug around with the other 2 jigs dangling, and then you can get to them. But temperature is nice today. It's in the 50s. It's not cold, so I don't have my jumpsuit on. I just got a regular little small jacket and my jeans. You almost all the time see me out in a jumpsuit because it's so daggone bad and cold. But today, it ain't like that. It's a little wind though, you know. You can feel the wind. I see the wind blowing the way. Today it's a little bit warmer, but it's chill factor is kind of chilly. But up there he is. Oh, that must be a little. He hardly pulled. He ain't pulling. That's a baby. That's a bird fish. Get him in. See that? That is a little one. I hate to surrender that life because if I throw him out there, he's gonna take it. See what I mean? What you mean? See that? Swallowing it right now. Pleasant being out here. I see one other boat on a Wednesday. Sometimes on Wednesdays, there's good many people out here, but I see one other boat there. Looks like they might water temperature in the 40s, that's when I really can catch them like this. You just got to take that thing and run it real slow across the bottom. And now, the temperature is way up there. Fish, they'll have us to spin all through here. The spinach can't zero in on them. You're not able to put it in the strike zone like you want to. So, I'm going to try to catch one more and I'm going to let you go. This wind's whipping. My stocking head back on. Probably ought to change back my colors at this point and see why things are changing. If it is the clouds, I just got off of. That's probably it. I probably just got off of. Real cold weather. Those fish group up and hold tight on the bottom, and you can sit there and blister. When it warms up, they move. They steady moving. They might swim under your school 15 or 20 and you catch 2 or 3 at a time. And the next thing you know, they swim away. So it's hard to hold them under when the water temperature is not really cold. And I'll tell anybody, the prettier the weather, the worse the fishing. No question. Even me, as much as I go, some days on a pretty day, I have to struggle. And the warmer, the harder. Unless you're fishing for bass, post-fall, or springtime bass. Or springtime crappie, they move up, you find a little spot to catch them. Post spawns what I like bass. They get on herring in Lake Murray, you can throw top water plug, and of course here lately everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it, so I went to the old-fashioned way with light line and a worm, going in, fishing out, bringing it back to the bank. Seems like it's something different, and I do real well doing that. Catch a lot of big bass. Anyhow, I'm gonna let you go. This thing probably can't hear me on this microphone, so I'm gonna let you go. Glad you could join me.